Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the mind of someone who's, well, undeniably changed how billions of us connect online, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
We're aiming to go beyond just, the headlines about Meta. We want to understand the core thinking behind building something that massive.
Exactly.
What were the principles? What was the real personal cost? And what kept him going?
I'd drive, yeah.
We've got this really insightful interview where he opens up quite a bit, talks about the journey, his philosophy, some surprising stuff behind that level of success. So our mission here is to pull out those key insights, those sort of aha moments, and the practical things you might be able to apply, whatever your own ambitions are.
It's a great opportunity, isn't it? Because we're looking past let's say, the standard narrative.
Right.
We're digging into the foundational thinking. Here's someone who started with a pretty simple idea in a dorm room and scaled it globally.
Unbelievably so.
So this deep dive, it's not just about what he built, it's about how he thought about it, why certain choices mattered so much. And hopefully, it gets you thinking about your own approach to making an impact.
Okay, let's start right there at the beginning. Because it feels almost like an accidental empire, doesn't it?
It kind of does, yeah.
Looking at Meta now, you'd think it was always this grand plan. But his first spark, it was just solving a small problem right there on campus, helping Harvard students connect. Simple as that.
Very specific, very contained initially.
It wasn't about building some global tech giant from day one. It was about making something useful. And that led to his core philosophy, which he mentions. If you build something that makes people's lives better, growth will naturally follow.
And that's such a critical point, utility first.
Yeah, he wasn't chasing users or revenue right out of the gate. He was chasing usefulness.
Which is, kind of counterintuitive in today's world, right? Everyone's focused on immediate monetization, quick wins. But what's fascinating here is that focus on value, on utility. It meant that the early users became the best marketers. Word of mouth did the heavy lifting.
So it's scaled organically.
Exactly. Without needing those huge marketing budgets that, many startups rely on, it suggests that maybe prioritizing usefulness, even if it seems slower, can actually be the fastest path to building something really dominant and sustainable. This is a powerful lesson.
But, okay, lots of people have good ideas. We all know that. What was different here? What made him actually build it? He boils it down to two key things: action and obsession.
Right.
He didn't sit around waiting for the perfect plan or all the features. He just started coding, immediately.
Right.
That bias for action seems crucial.
Yeah, that whole move fast and break things idea wasn't just a slogan they came up with later. It really came from those early days, shipping something basic, what we now call an MVP, a minimum viable product, getting it out there, getting feedback, and then just iterating like crazy.
Even if things broke along the way, those server crashes he talks about.
Exactly. It's about doing, learning, fixing, doing again, not endless deliberation before you even start.
And then there's the obsession part. He talks about spending hours and hours coding, sometimes, forgetting to eat, losing track of time, just focused on tweaking and improving. He actually says obsession is underrated. We often hear it has negative connotations, like it's unhealthy.
Right, it often does.
But he argues that when it's really tied to your mission, it's the fuel. It's what gets you through the tough spots. That
intensity, you see it in a lot of people who build massive things, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
And maybe obsession sounds negative, but if you reframe it as singular devotion to a purpose you deeply believe in, well, then it looks different.
More like extreme dedication.
Exactly. It's that kind of deep, relentless focus that lets you see things others miss. But, and this is important, it definitely comes at a significant personal cost. There's always a trade-off.
Oh, absolutely. And he's pretty open about that cost. People see the massive success now, but the early days, he describes them as messy, servers crashing constantly, always scrambling for money, dealing with lawsuits.
Non-stop pressure.
And endless skepticism from people who didn't get it. He mentions a critical moment where investors were actually pushing him hard to sell the company.
Wow.
Telling him, look, you're young, you'll have other great ideas, just take the money now. Imagine that pressure.
Yeah, it must have been immense.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't sell, it says a lot about his belief in the mission. It wasn't just about the money.
He said the mission wasn't finished. Connecting people mattered more than the stress.
And that brings us to the cost you mentioned. He's quite blunt about it, giving up privacy, normal life, and in many ways, freedom.
Yeah.
He contrasts his 20s just coding, meetings, constant criticism with what his friends were doing. traveling, exploring, living a more, normal young adult life.
A very different path.
It highlights that success, especially at that scale, isn't free. It demands real sacrifices.
Yeah.
And it really poses a question for you listening. What sacrifices are you truly willing to make for your big goals? Are you prepared for that potential price?
So if we try to kind of distill his core philosophy for achieving that kind of lasting impact, he comes back to three main ideas pretty consistently. First one, think long term.
Classic.
He has that line, most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but drastically underestimate what they can achieve in 10. He says he always tried to build with decades in mind, not months.
Which is incredibly hard to stick to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in business, where everything feels driven by the next quarter's results.
Right.
It takes real conviction in your vision to make decisions today that might not pay off for years. That's a kind of strategic patience most leaders just don't have.
Okay, second principle, build around people. He stresses that success isn't just the product. It's fundamentally about the community, the team, and the culture.
The human element. Exactly. And third, embrace failure. He's really strong on this. If you're not failing, he says, you're not pushing hard enough.
Yeah.
For him, failure isn't some terrible endpoint. It's just a sign of movement. It's data as feedback. And he admits he failed countless times.
And that reframing is so powerful. It's not about celebrating mistakes, obviously, but seeing every attempt that doesn't work, every misstep as just information, data points guiding you closer to what does work.
Takes the sting out of it.
It does, but it also requires you to check your ego at the door, right? Especially when the stakes get really high. It's a challenge for all of us, really.
Yeah.
Are you looking at your setbacks as useful data, as feedback? Or are you seeing them purely as roadblocks, reasons to give up?
Now, we have to touch on the luck factor, because with any story of huge success, people always say, well, they got lucky.
It always comes up.
And Zuckerberg addresses it directly. He acknowledges luck plays a part. Being in the right place at the right time with access to the right resources, it matters. He doesn't try to deny that.
Which is refreshingly honest, I think. But he makes a crucial distinction. Luck might, crack the door open for you, but it's not enough on its own. He says luck alone doesn't sustain success. It's the effort, the persistence, the vision after that opportunity appears that allows you to actually walk through that door and then, importantly, stay inside and build something lasting.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about being lucky. It's about being ready when luck strikes. It's opportunity meeting preparedness, right? And then having the relentless drive to capitalize on it and keep building. It's like, yeah, maybe you catch a lucky wave, but you still have to know how to surf it.
Good analogy. Okay, let's shift gears a bit to the more personal side. He's obviously achieved incredible financial success, global recognition, but he talks about balance being tricky.
Relatable, even at that level.
Yeah. He says it's less about trying to split time perfectly, like 50-50, and more about making the moments that matter count, being fully present.
Quality over quantity.
Right. He actually schedules family time with the same seriousness as board meetings. He treats it as non-negotiable. Wants to be there, really there when he's with his kids.
It's interesting, isn't it? Even with all that success, the fundamental human challenges remain. Finding balance, searching for genuine fulfillment, just being present in your own life. And he busts a big myth, saying success itself doesn't make you happy automatically. That's a profound statement.
It really is.
He insists true fulfillment, that deeper sense of satisfaction, comes from purpose, from having a mission bigger than yourself. For him, that's connecting people, giving them a voice.
He also admits it's a struggle sometimes, balancing that intense ambition with just being present. He even mentions his kids telling him, Dad, put your phone away.
Yeah. Shows he's human.
Totally. And he sees value in personal failures too. Says they humble you, they strip away ego, and they teach crucial things like resilience and even empathy.
That vulnerability is quite telling, I think. It just underscores that happiness fulfillment. It's an inside job, isn't it? It's not about reaching some external destination of wealth or fame. It really encourages you, the listener, to think about your own purpose. What gives your life meaning beyond just, achievements?
Okay, let's pivot back to leadership and strategy because Facebook, now Meta, has had to adapt massively over the years. The platform today looks nothing like it did in 2004.
Constant evolution.
He puts their success down to three things again. Clarity of purpose, relentless execution, and that crucial adaptability. They weren't afraid to change, even change core things. And he talks about making really bold bets like buying Instagram, buying WhatsApp, decisions driven by, as he puts it, a mix of intuition and data.
Yeah, those were controversial at the time.
Hugely. But he says they were looking ahead, trying to see not just what was big then, but what was going to be big 5-10 years down the line.
That kind of foresight, spotting major trends before they fully emerge, that's visionary leadership. It takes guts to make those kinds of bets, especially when everyone's questioning you.
Right.
But it seems fueled by that combination he mentioned, having a strong gut feeling, but also backing it up with the data. It definitely raises a question for anyone in a leadership role, or even thinking strategically about their own career. How much of your focus is on preparing for tomorrow versus just managing today?
And dealing with the constant criticism that comes with being in the public eye. He says you have to learn to separate the useful criticism from the noise. You just can't please everyone.
Essential survival skill at that level, I imagine?
His leadership philosophy, he sums it up as lead by vision, not fear. Trusting smart people, delegating effectively. He has that great line. If you're the smartest person in every room you're in the wrong rooms.
That's such a powerful insight on building strong teams, isn't it? Surround yourself with people who know more than you in different areas and then empower them. Don't micromanage.
Set the direction, then trust the team.
Exactly. And he does acknowledge the weight of it all, the responsibility, technology having unintended consequences, things like loneliness, addiction, disconnection, even while trying to connect people. He sees tech as reflecting humanity, the good and the bad, which means we need to be intentional about how we use it.
And looking forward, what keeps him motivated now? He talks about being fascinated by AI, by virtual reality, and their potential to maybe bridge gaps in education, healthcare, create new opportunities for billions. Still thinking big.
Always focused on the next frontier. It underscores the courage needed for those bold strategic moves and the wisdom in filtering feedback effectively.
So, okay, wrapping this up. If he were giving advice to his younger self or to any young dreamer out there today, what would it be? His main point is be patient.
Back to long-term thinking.
Yeah. Some really big, meaningful things just take years, even decades to build. And he cautions against the myth of overnight success. Says speed can be deceptive. Lasting success, he argues, needs that solid base we talked about. The clear purpose, the relentless execution, and the ability to adapt.
It really pulls everything together, doesn't it? It's about building a solid foundation, not just for a company, but maybe for a meaningful life. Taking it step by step, but always with that long-term vision in mind.
And his final message is really a call to action. Don't wait for permission. Just start now with what you have. Success isn't some magic moment. It's just about taking the first step and then the next.
Love that. Simple, actionable.
And maybe the most powerful part. Your dream should be bigger than you. If it only benefits you, it's too small. Aim for something that changes lives.
Wow. That's a mic drop moment, really. It challenges us all to think beyond just our own success or comfort. It pushes you to ask, what's one small step, maybe even today, you could take towards a dream that feels bigger than just yourself? Something that aims to make a positive difference for others.
So when we boil it all down, what can we take away from this deep dive?
I think Zuckerberg's story, it's more than just tech history. It's really a masterclass in having a clear vision, incredible persistence, understanding the power of purpose, and crucially, being willing to pay the price that sometimes comes with trying to make a massive impact.
Definitely.
It reminds us about the power of just starting, of thinking in decades, not days, seeing failure as data, and really building something around a mission that helps others, not just yourself.
And if we connect it all back to that core mission he started with, connecting people, maybe the final thought for you is this. Zuckerberg aimed to leave the world more connected technologically. How might your efforts to build connection, maybe in your work, in your relationships, in your community, how might that become your most meaningful legacy? What kind of connection do you want to foster in your part of the world? And what's one concrete step you can take starting now to make that happen?